Hello. Today I'm doing a special type of vlog. I'm going to try to read as many books as possible within a 24-hour time frame. I'm about to go out to dinner, but I have like a half hour-ish before I have to leave, so I figured, let me start this now. So I'm starting with The Chase. It's the first book in the Briar U Series by L. Kennedy. I've been wanting to read these for a while. I read the Off-Campus series and enjoyed it, so I figured, why not go ahead and read this as well? Let me explain how this is gonna work. I'm going to set an alarm for 24 hours. Every time I read, I'm going to press start on it. So if I was like, okay, I'm gonna read right now, I'd hit start. And then when I stop reading, I'm gonna pause it. And then when I keep reading again, I'll hit resume. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'm gonna set this for 24 hours and then I'm going to sit here and I'm going to start to read. Synopsis of The Chase, the first book in the Briar U series, like I said, from what I can gain off of the back. It's this guy named Colin who has tattoos, plays hockey. He's buddy-buddy, as it says on the back, with the girl's brother. Yeah, basically they're roommates, so forced proximity, oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna sit for about half hour before I have to leave to go to dinner. I'm on chapter 5. I have to get ready to leave. I like it a lot so far. All of the characters from the Off-Campus series are in this as well. So it's like fun to kind of see everybody connected. Yeah, I'm gonna go and I'll probably pick up later. See you later. I read like 5 more chapters last night, but I didn't film it because, well, I filmed it, but I didn't talk about it afterwards because people were sleeping and I didn't want to be loud. I'm on chapter 10 right now. Really good so far. These chapters are pretty short, which I really like about L. Kennedy's books because I feel like I can knock out a bunch of chapters in one sitting and feel really accomplished, but I'm not like super deep into the story yet. They're currently living together. She had like a New Year's kiss with one of the other roommates and he's like low-key kind of pressed about it, but won't say anything. It's like 11 right now. I woke up at like 10 and I feel gross, so I'm probably just gonna read all day. So I'm gonna try, honestly, potentially to knock this book out today. I'm like halfway through right now. He's just like super protective over her. There was a night where they were like drinking and he was like, okay, you've had enough, and like carries her up to her room and she's like fighting him about it. He's also like talking shit about her because he's trying to convince himself that he doesn't actually like her. So he's like talking shit to the roommates and all the roommates are like, we think she's fine, but like whatever. She ends up overhearing him every time and then they just keep fighting. And then the last crazy thing that I read, this isn't a spoiler. I don't know, perhaps somebody would view this as a spoiler, so skip like 10 seconds if you're that scared. But basically they play spin the bottle, and since everybody knows that they're fighting, the two main characters are like, we're not gonna kiss. And then everybody's like, do it, do it, do it. That's where I am right now. So far, really like it. It's like, I'm halfway through. I feel like it's moving at like the perfect length. You know, it's not like rushing into anything, but it's also not like almost the end of the book and nothing's happened. I just finished this book at 2:22, at like 2:22 p.m. Are you joking right now? I finished. I really liked it. I honestly, so far, I like this one better than any of the Off-Campus series books. I really like it. I think I'm gonna give it like 4 stars. It wasn't like a perfect, like, I'm dying to read it again kind of book, but I still really liked it. The main character, Colin, is like super protective. I already kind of made a point of that, but the female lead, Summer, has like issues with her professor. He's like kind of a creep. And so when Colin finds out about it, he's like not excited, obviously. He's like really upset and mad. Oh, something else I don't know if I mentioned. It's kind of, I don't want to say like a love triangle, but it's kind of like, there's 2 guys that are into her and she's into both of them, but she has to like pick which one she ends up with. And it's like super awkward and like there's like high tension sometimes because they all live together. Hard to avoid them. She has to make the decision while also like dealing with all of this stuff with her professor. Like this one a lot. I'm back. I think my next read, I'm gonna stick with like the hockey theme. I think I'm gonna go with Icebreaker. I just saw a video and somebody had said they read it and it was like crazy good. I'm gonna start this one. It is about a figure skater. Male lead Nathan is captain of the Maple Hills Titans, the hockey team. When a misunderstanding results in the 2 teams sharing a rink, and Anastasia's partner gets hurt in the aftermath. Nate finds himself swapping his stick for tights. So he's a hockey player that ends up as her partner for figure skating. Time to clock it. I am about 100 pages in. I really like it so far. The whole thing that happens that makes the hockey team and the figure skating team like merge. They had 2 rinks, and the rink that the hockey team would practice in, like the generator and the cooling system broke, so it basically flooded. So now they have to share the other rink with the figure skaters. The main guy, Nate, he like I'm not gonna say like what the secret is, but he basically like keeps the secret from the main girl, and she's mad about it, so she kind of like puts up a fight and doesn't really let him in super easily. But he keeps like pushing to be on her good side and like wants to be friends and wants to like get along. Her partner, they haven't, so it's 100 pages in and he hasn't like stepped in yet to like be her new partner, but her current partner is like really annoying. Like, don't like him, he's really annoying. There was one part she like didn't land something and fell and like smashed into the side of the wall and like hurt herself and was bleeding, and Nate was like taking care of her and cleaning her up, and it was fantastic. She's definitely making getting along difficult for him because she's still like mad about the secret. So I was just out all day because I went to a bookstore and I got 6 books and I spent $41, and the most expensive book I bought was $18. The cheapest book I got was $2. I'm gonna show you what books I just got. I had never heard of this one, but it's What to Say Next. Yeah, it was $2.50. This is what the back says if you want to pause and read. I honestly saw it up in the front and it was like $8, and I was like, it's not bad for a book, but I wasn't really sure if I was into it, and then I saw it in the back for $2.50, so I was like, I'll definitely get it now. Oh, there's another one in my car that I forgot. Okay, I have to go grab that. But there's this one, it's called Snow Job. This is what this one is about. It takes place in the 70s, so I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, apparently he like gets into drugs, and it's about him trying to get out of it. And I'd never heard of this one either, but it's a thriller apparently, and it was $4.95, so I grabbed that. I also got the Bromance Book Club. I wasn't too sure about it, and I saw it was $3.50, so I grabbed it. So I got this one, and I also got It Starts With Us because I read It Ends With Us and I really wanted to read this, and this was $7.95. I'm sure you probably know about It Ends With Us, so you may know about It Starts With Us. And then this is one I paid full price for just because I'd been wanting it so badly, so I got A Court of Thorns and Roses. Everybody says how great it is. I left another book in the car. It's New Year's Eve. I'm gonna give you a little update on where I left off on Icebreaker. Where I left off, he just became her partner for figure skating, and he's like learning the tricks and stuff and everything, but she's super competitive and like this is her livelihood, her passion, so she's very like, yes, we're a thing and like we're low-key like kind of together. To me, figure skating comes first, so for the next 8 weeks like we're not doing anything, nothing romantic, nothing physical, like we're strictly partners for this routine until the big competition is over with, then we can go back to what it was. So he's just like kind of annoyed. He like really plays into trying to prove that he like actually likes her, and he's the one that like makes the effort, which is really cute. But I'm like halfway through. I'm gonna keep reading. I really, really like it so far. I just finished. This is my favorite book ever. Okay, this was so freaking good. I loved it so much. Like, the banter between them. Nate is like the cutest. He's just such a sweetheart, and I just love him. And he's such a good boyfriend, and I need him in my life. They're just so perfect. Like, this is my favorite book couple, favorite book boyfriend. Like, this, oh, like 5 stars. I haven't read a good like fiction romance book that like got me like this one did in so long. The timeline of events, I feel like everything happened and it made so much sense, you know? Like sometimes they get together and there's like a love confession like 2 chapters after, and I'm like, there's just like no way, right? This, everything was perfect. Everything flowed so nicely. I loved the characters. There were some that I didn't like, but that's because they're supposed to be bad characters. 10 out of 10 would recommend, 5 stars from me. Back in my room, I've got Icebreaker up here. So good, right above my Policeman, my 2 favorite books. Next book I'm gonna read is Full Tilt. Sit right here and give you a little synopsis of it. So Full Tilt by Emma Scott. It's about Casey Dawson, who is a lead guitarist for a hot and upcoming band. She basically winds up hungover on her limo driver's couch, and the limo driver is Jonah Fletcher. It says his big plans include seeing the opening of his glass installation at a prestigious art gallery. They do not include falling in love with a wild rock musician who wound up passed out on his couch. I love sports romances, but I also love like music in books. I love music and I love this kind of vibe. It says Full Tilt is a story about what it means to love with your whole heart, to sacrifice, to experience terrible grief and soaring joy. I'm actually kind of scared. We'll start this one right now because I've got nothing else to do for the night, so I'm really excited. I read like 5 chapters and then got hungry, so I'm gonna talk to you about like the first few chapters and give you a little glimpse of what I think is going on while I make dinner. It starts out with Casey, the lead guitarist of the band Rapid Confession, and she's like a little grunge rock queen. I'm obsessed with her already. Something happened with her old boyfriend named Chet. None of this is spoilers, by the way. This literally happens in like the first chapter of the book. She goes home to introduce him to her family, and her dad like hates him. It caused like this whole split in her family. She was kicked out. She was homeless at 17. Started this band to kind of get herself back up. She's super determined, very hardworking, so I really like her. So she calls her mom accidentally right before a show. Her mom ends up answering. Her mom just like basically wants to get off the phone with her, and she keeps asking if she can talk to her dad, and her mom's like making excuses and saying no, and that he's still very upset with her. She's like, okay, well, I mean, I just want to let you know, like, I'm playing a sold out show in Vegas tonight. Her mom like does not care. And then after the show, she gets really drunk, goes outside, and the limo driver picks her up, tries to like take her home, and she says no, and he ends up taking her back to his house or his apartment. She crashes on his couch. I don't know where I left off. I gave it 4 stars. I'm personally not a big fan of like rushed like romance stuff. The whole plot of this story really, this isn't a spoiler, the whole plot is basically the male lead in this book, Jonah, had a heart transplant. There was like some sort of rejection. He was basically having heart failure and his time was limited. I really liked it still. I gave it 4 stars. Like, I did really enjoy it. I just am not a big fan of like that kind of rushed like limited time romance, just because it's like, you know what's happening, you know what's gonna like end up showing up at some point. I would recommend it. I still really liked it. I liked the main characters a lot. I liked their connection. The next book I'm gonna read is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, because I need something that's like kind of a different vibe. It's like a thriller mystery, and I feel like this could be fun to read. It's like 9:30 the next day. I finished the book last night. I gave it 2 stars. I liked the idea of it. Maybe I'm just not really big into like thrillers like that. This girl is trying to solve a murder for a school project. Somehow the school is just like okay with that. Like, she's interviewing families. I don't know, everybody's having like a hard time with this case, even though it's been 5 years. Like, people died, so people are like still very sensitive talking about it. She's like asking questions that are just super like inconsiderate of the fact that people died. I don't know. It wasn't my vibe. I finished it only because I wanted to finish it. Otherwise I wouldn't have kept reading, because honestly I wasn't into it Okay, it's 11:30. I have to start editing this video, but I still have some time left. So I'm gonna read one last book today. This is the one I'm gonna read. It's pretty short, so I figured I could probably finish this in time today. It's 9 different romance stories in one. It's called Together Apart. These are all of the authors on the bottom. I'm gonna sit here and like individually read them all out, and I also know I'm gonna butcher 90% of those names. It says on the back, 9 romantic stories about finding love in unexpected places during an unprecedented time. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, so I have no idea going into it what my thoughts will be, and I can let y'all know if it's worth it. So I'm about to finish Together Apart. I have a little bit left, but the timer went off. I'm gonna tell you what I think with what I've read so far. So I think it's really cute. It's a bunch of really short stories. Like I said, they're like 20 to 30 pages. There's one that's like 3 pages. It takes place during COVID, so everybody's in lockdowns. There's not a lot of them like hanging out together. It's kind of like communicating with the distance, that kind of thing. I still think like some of the stories are so cute, so I do recommend if you want like an easy read like that, because it is nice. There's not chapters, but there's like 20 pages and that's the whole story, and then you move on to the next story. I still thought it was really cute. I did like it. Those were all the books that I read. My favorite was definitely Icebreaker. I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. It was so good. I also really liked The Chase. Yeah, I had fun. I read a lot of books. Five books? I'm a fast reader though, so that was definitely part of it. I really enjoyed that. I have some other books that I need to read and some that I would like to do full reading vlogs where I'm just reading that one book. I've been sick for like the past week, so in this video I have like 6 different voices. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for watching though, and I'll see you when I see ya.